Okay. Would you like to kick us off, or I'll jump right in?
Yeah, sure, I can do. So I've been using Teamzy for I think just over a month now, Eric, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm really excited to share it with you all. I was one of these people that always had lots of notepads everywhere and was forgetting to follow up with people and finding I was getting to the end of the month and chasing the QVs at the end of the month. And this system that Eric's created is so in line with what we do with Arbonne, because it fits with connecting with people, it fits with building a community, building relationships, and it's all about just making someone's day, which I'm sure Eric will come on to. Plus, it's also fun as well. There's a little bit of competition in there, which Dawn and I have been having over the past few weeks. And we were just having a conversation earlier, Eric, about someone that Dawn's connected with through using Teamzy in America, and she's talking to her now about a sale. So that's really, really good. So yeah, I cannot recommend it enough, but I'm going to pass it over to you, Eric, to tell everyone all about it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here, and thank you again for your grace. Sorry about the time zone situation, but I'm glad you guys stayed out of bed and were ready. No, you probably weren't going to bed yet, unless you're like me. I like to go to bed kind of early. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you into Teamzy. I'll show you how easy it is to set it up. I'm going to take you through the workflows to show you how you can do all your business building activity in less than 1 hour a day. Okay, and it'll be fun. It will be fun, as Danii was saying. So we're going to have some fun. A couple of things I just want to say off of the bat, and usually I do a longer presentation on this, but I know we kind of missed some time. So I just kind of digest this for you, is that Teamzy is based on relationship marketing. And what that means is that we focus on building relationships. That's the whole point of the software, is to help you facilitate building relationships. Okay, because that is the secret to our business. It's building relationships. People want to buy from you. Arbonne's great, but it's you that they're buying from. There's a lot of people they could choose from, right? So people want to do business with a friend. They want to feel like they're connected to you. When people join your team, they join your team because of you. They stay on your team because of the relationship they have with you. This is the most important central piece to building our business. Does it make sense? And so, but building relationships, some people are great at it. Some people have to work a little harder at it, right? But the thing that's really interesting about building relationships is it takes time and it takes intentionality. And that's what Teamzy helps you do. Make sense? Okay, so without further ado, we will jump right in. I'm going to just start sharing my screen. And I'm going to take you through some screens and kind of demonstrate some for you. Now, what we want to do is I'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, you can feel free to do that. Actually, while I'm doing this really quick, let me just set this up real quick. Okay, I'm logged in. Here we go. Okay. Now, what's weird about this is, what's going on here, Zoom? Hold on a second, guys. I know you could see me, but I couldn't see you anymore, which was a little disheartening. And usually it lets me see you while I'm sharing. Guys, I gotta know you're still there. Let's try this again. Oh, I see what it did. It pushed you guys over to my second screen. Pull you back over there. There you are. Okay, here we go. So first thing I want you guys to understand is that you can go to teamzy.com. It's spelled just like on the screen, Teamzy, teamzy.com, and start a free trial of Teamzy. You can try it out for those of you who haven't used it. We won't ask for your credit card number or anything weird. We're not creepers like that. We just want you to try it and love it. Okay, so you can get the free trial. Now, when you select your free trial, to ask your business and you want to select Arbonne from the drop down, make sure you get the custom version that we've made for you. Okay. All right. So everybody knows that. And once you've logged into your free trial, you'll be looking at the screen that I'm sharing with you now. This is kind of the welcome to Teamzy screen, excuse me. And I'm going to take you through this. Now, is there anybody on the call that's not super tech minded? Like you're kind of worried already about setting this up. So, okay, good. So you're like me. So for me, it's like, I don't want to have to think. In fact, my favorite tech book of all time was called Don't Make Me Think. Don't make me think about how to do this. So we've set this up and really made it easy. So if I can do this, I want you guys to know you can do it. Okay, it's really simple. So I'm going to take you through the screens. They all have big, I call these clobber buttons because you hit them with a fist, right? So it makes it real easy. We're going to go through this. The first thing I want you to look at here is this page where we're going to set your income goal. We're going to set your income goal. Now, don't get caught up in the fact that it has dollar signs. That doesn't really matter because it's just going to calculate based on your income. Okay. So what I want you to understand is once you set your goal, so mine was at 150,000 a year, you can actually move it up or move it down. Now, one of the things that Teamzy does for you is it calculates how much work you need to do to hit your goal in a year. Okay, so this is the goal we want to be at a year from now. So if I'm at 150,000, you can see I need to reach out to 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 consultants on my team each day, right? That's 5 days a week, by the way, just so we don't freak you out too much. 5 days a week, so you can have holidays and things in there. If you want to go less, it's going to require less of you. If you want to go higher, it's going to require more of you. Does it make sense? But what it does do is you'll know exactly what you need to be doing, which is kind of a relief because for some of you, you need permission to put the tools down some days, right? You may be overdoing it. So it's just like you go steady and you make steady progress as you go. Okay, so I'm going to set my goal to 150. That was my actual goal because I wanted to replace the salary I was earning at my job with my business. How many of you, that's your goal or first goal anyways? Yeah. Okay, so hit continue. So now what happens is now we've got Teamzy set up to your goal. So whatever you set, your Teamzy account will be configured to your goal and everything will reflect it, which is pretty cool. The next step is getting all your contacts into Teamzy. So what we're going to do is we're going to give up the sticky notes. We're going to give up the little pads of paper that you've got things scratched in all over the office, right? And the pads of paper you can't find when you need them. We're going to give up the spreadsheet that you color coded but never updated. We're going to give all that up and get all your contacts in one place, organized, right? Because you really can't build a big business if you're feeling disorganized. So Teamzy is cloud-based, which means that you can always access it if you've got your smartphone, if you're near a computer, wherever you've got internet access, it's there saved in the cloud. You can get to it, right? Which is really cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to get your team imported into Teamzy, your customers into Teamzy, and then we can start bringing in contact lists like your social media contacts so that you have people to start reaching out and prospecting with. Pretty cool, right? The other thing that's going to happen besides being organized, and I'll show you this as we get in here in a second, Teamzy has has a special algorithm that helps you stay in contact with everybody on your list without letting anyone drop through the cracks. You don't have to think about it and you don't have to plan it. It just does it for you, which is kind of cool. So it's more than a CRM software. It's actually kind of like having a personal assistant built in. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip this right now for now. Oh, one other thing I wanted you guys to know is that if you do use Google Chrome, at least to set up Teamzy, you can sync your Facebook contacts with one click, which is really cool. So you can get all your Facebook contacts synced in there through the Google Chrome app. Okay, all right, let's get launched. So we're looking right now at the dashboard, and this big section here are just little things when you're new to help you get set up. I'm going to minimize that because you have me today live. Okay. So what I want to show you here, this is the custom Arbonne version that we're looking at right now. The first thing I want to show you is this part where it says today's activities. You guys see that rectangle right there? It says today's activities. So this is what you need to do today. Okay. So we've given Teamzy our goal for the year. And now Teamzy is going to tell us what to do today. So this is an important concept because if you want to have a business that's big, how many of you want to have a big business? Okay, most of you want a big business. If you want a big business, you have to have a focus that's small, right? You have to have a focus that's small. And the truth is we only have one day. That's today. That's the only day we have. So yeah, we make the goal for the year, but we have to get to work today. So this tells us what to do today. So we know exactly how much and what we need to do. Now, if you look at my today's activities, you can see I've got a goal to connect with 9 prospects. See where it says connects. Okay. So just to clarify what we mean by connects, a lot of people use the term follow-ups, but they're not a follow-up unless you've got something to follow up on, right? They're just connects. So we're connecting with people. That's our job. And as I'm reaching out to my prospects, so my goals are to reach out to 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 consultants today. I'm reaching out to connect. And this is where, and Danii, thanks for mentioning it. This is where we want to get into what I call the make someone's day mindset. The make someone's day mindset. So our goal when we connect is only just to make their day. That's it. We're not trying to even mention Arbonne. Okay, does this make sense? So even though you may have sat through trainers, maybe even top people in Arbonne have told you that you should be sending them links or offering them to see the business, or, you know, in that first prospecting message, I'll tell you that that's not very effective. It's not very effective. It's like walking into a pub and asking someone to marry you the first time you see them. Now, are there going to be situations in the world where that worked out? Sure. But how many more will be rejections? Right? Make sense? So that's the thing, is our whole industry is built on this concept that if you just power through the massive soul crushing mountains of rejection, you're going to get yeses and build your business. How many of you want to build your business that way? It doesn't. Well, no, I'm Sherry. I know you want to build your business, but you don't want the massive mountain of heart crushing rejection. I know you didn't mean that. The point is there's a better way to do it so that you can generate a lot more interest without turning people off, without sending your friends to cross the street every time they see you coming, right? So we want to do it a better way. So we're going to reach out first to make their day. And I'm going to show you guys how easy this is and how effective this is. The reason why we reach out to make people's day is because our goal, number one goal, there's 4 things that we want happening. And I'm going to, through this power, I'm going to show you, these are the 4 things we do in our power hour. There's 4 things to be doing on a daily basis to be in momentum in your business. The first one is creating conversations. Creating conversations. Okay, so the first one is creating conversations. And that's what connecting to make people's day does. It makes it an easy thing for them. Oh, so great to hear from you. Now we're in a conversation, right? Not, oh no, another one of my friends selling protein shakes, gotta go. Right? Okay. So the goal is to start with conversations. So we're going to connect with prospects, customers, and consultants. You have a daily goal. Then we also want to have some shares. Okay. So you've got a goal for shares. How many times are you going to share the business today? Right? Are you going to share? So what do I mean by shares? People always go, what about this, Eric? Is this a share? So I have 2 things that I count as a share. Did you share a product solution with somebody? Or did you share the business opportunity with somebody? Those are shares. And the rest of the conversation is lead up to that, right? So if you're having an event and you invite them to your event, that's lead up to the share you're going to do at the event. Make sense? Okay. So I've got a goal for shares every day. And then I've got the last one there are ads. And what I mean by ads, I mean, I want to add new people to Teamzy, right? I want to add new people to Teamzy. So for example, we're going to add, hold on, let me get my Facebook up here. We're going to use Facebook in a second. We're going to add, let me see if I got this here. Okay. I'll show you how to do this. So I've got a new friend today. I'm going to add Danii to my Facebook. Okay, here we go. Am I saying your name right, by the way? It's not like Danii or anything crazy. It's just, okay. Okay. And it's Adamson. Did I get that right? Okay. Do you guys see how easy it is to add somebody? Look, I just added her to Teamzy. Boom. There she is. We're going to put her up 5 stars. Okay. So now when you come up here, you can see I've got one of my ads done, 2 left. So these circles fill in as you do activities, which is really cool. Okay. So those are my goals. Connect with prospects, customers, consultants, do some shares, do some ads. Okay. And when you start your new account in Teamzy, it's going to default those shares and ads to just 1 per day. Like you're going to share once every day. You're going to add a new person once every day. That's it. Your arms and legs aren't going to fall off. Okay. This is so easy to do. Okay. So now now picture this. You've got all your contacts in Teamzy. Teamzy is what's called a CRM. Have you guys ever heard of CRM? It's a type of software. It stands for Contact Relationship Manager. Makes it pretty self-explanatory, right? So CRM is a very dull and boring type of software. And this is from the guy who owns one, right? It's like a filing cabinet. It keeps track of all of your contacts, their information, their address, their phone number, right? Social media stuff, name of their dog, their favorite coffee drink, all that stuff, right? You keep all that in your CRM. It's like a filing cabinet. And when you work for a company as a salesperson, you're required to use CRM. You're required to log everything in there so you collect all this data on your customers, right? But salespeople tend to very much dislike using the CRM. It's like in the way, it's busy work, right? It's like filing work, and I want to go out and meet people. What Teamzy does that's really different is it takes that data that you've put in Teamzy and it organizes it for you every day. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to do busy work. It tells you exactly what to do, with whom, what to say, and you're on your way. Hey, I made it rhyme that time. I got to write that down so I remember that, right? It's very easy to use. I like Kim. I'm just on the next person on my list is Kim. Do you guys know Kim Meller? Yeah, she calls it simple, sexy system is what she calls Teamzy. I'm like, I need to use that in my marketing, right? But I can't do her voice right. But you get the idea. So let me show you how this works. It's so simple. So what you would do once you get Teamzy set up, and what we're going to do when you put your contacts in Teamzy is you're going to give them a rank between 1 star and 5 star. Very simple, right? You guys know how to do that. We rank everything on 5-star system. You're going to give your people a rank. The rank determines what priority you put on reaching out to those people. Okay. So 5-star people come up first. You can see Dani's 5 stars. So she's the first one on my list. They come up first, then 4s, then 3s, then 2s, and so on. But what Teamzy does, which is really cool, is when you connect with somebody and log it in Teamzy, it resets their clock. So 5-star people come back every 30 days. So those are like your closest people, people that if you message every 30 days, they don't think you're weird. You won't have that many people like that. Honestly, you won't have that many 5-star people. You'll find after you're doing Teamzy a few weeks, you're like, after your first month, when all those people come back, you're like, I just messaged that person. They must be a 4-star. 4-star people come back every 60 days. 3-star people come back every 90 days. 2-star people every 120 days. Does this make sense? What this does is it allows you to stay in contact with a large list, right? You can easily manage up to 5,000 relationships in Teamzy and stay in touch with all of them. Isn't that amazing? And in less than an hour a day. I'm serious. Okay. So we've got everybody ranked and you're ready to go. You just log into Teamzy. You set your hour and your schedule when you're going to go work Teamzy. You put it in there and it's now time to do it. You log in. Okay, whose Teamzy got me messaging? The first person on my list. And so when I do my power hour, let me just show you this. And I'm going to scroll down here to where it says power hour right here. See this area here? It's got 4 lists that I work. It's got my prospects list, my customers list, my consultants list, and then my follow-ups list. Okay. And on the right-hand side is where I log the message I sent them so that it's recorded in history and Teamzy resets their clock. Simple, right? Okay. This is how I stay in touch. Now, follow-ups. Follow-ups are people I've shared with. Okay. This is my pipeline. So I'm going to start by making people's day, try to get them into conversation with me so I can build the relationship with them, right? And as I'm having lots of conversations, I'm going to be finding people who are interested in learning more about Arbonne. Maybe not all of them right away, but I will find people who are interested. Those are the people that I'm now going to share with and put on my follow-ups list. The follow-ups list is where you put on your professional hat. It's not just like, oh, hey, Sherry, how's life? How's everything going? Did you have, are you excited for the holidays? It's okay. Let's talk about what your goals are. What are your needs? Where are you most interested in learning about Arbonne? Like what products have caught your eye? Let's talk a little bit more and figure out how I can be of service and help you, right? So it's a more professional conversation. Does this make sense? Now you can use the follow-up feature just to remind yourself to connect with people for whatever reason, but that's really what it's designed for, is to be your pipeline of, okay, these are the people who are interested in, now I'm following up on it. And I'll show you that in a minute. But sometimes people might say, oh, it's crazy right now. Can you message me, January 15th? Great. Or I'm going to Africa for a mission trip, message me then. And so then you can put in the follow-ups to remind you, right? But typically it's for after a share. Okay. Makes sense so far? All right, let me show you how to do it. So when we come in here, you're going to go to prospects first, always work from left to right. Now, this seems pretty obvious, always work from left to right. However, once you get rocking with Teamzy, like 2 or 3 weeks in, you're going to have a lot of people on the follow-ups list and you're going to be tempted to start right on the right-hand side first. The reason why we always start with prospects is because I'm going to explain to you. Remember, I showed number 1 for staying in momentum is starting conversations daily. So even though you've got a bunch of conversations going, we still, number 1 thing to be in momentum is starting conversations daily. We never stop doing that. Okay, so we'll start from left to right. Prospects. First person on my list is Danii. I'm going to send her a message. most of you guys get that already. I don't have to tell you not to ring people on the telephone, like send them a message, right? So we send them messages. I like Messenger. So whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can get people through Messenger. You can text them. You can use WhatsApp. You can use whatever, wherever you're connecting. Does this make sense? I primarily lean on Messenger because I find the response rate's really good there to start a conversation with somebody. I also like that it leads them to go to my profile even before they respond to my message, and they start feeling like they are building a relationship with me, really, right? Because they're looking at my pictures, looking at my kids. They're starting, right? They're starting to feel better about you, even as they're responding. So it's kind of neat. Okay, so here we go. Let me just show you how to do this really quick. Danii comes up. Now I'm going to message her. What am I going to say? How do I do it? Have you guys wondered? Like, just tell me what to say. So what we did was, after about a year of Teamzy being out there, we put, people kept saying, you know, I do team calls like this. I go, Eric, it sounds so easy. When you say it, and then I stare at my screen. So I added all my scripts to Teamzy for you. So even in the free trial, you guys, you'll have access to my scripts, and they're right here. So when you go to message her, you see where it says scripts right there. Just click it and you can get some great icebreaker scripts to start the conversation. You can choose what type you want. Okay, so I'm going to just go to Facebook, and here we go. So there's a bunch of scripts I can choose from. I'll take the first one off the list. Here's how it reads. It says, "Hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? Hope your day is awesome." Okay, so simple, right? So what we do is just click on copy script. And then when I could go straight over and message her, but I'm going to paste it in Teamzy first because I want to make sure I get the name right and everything before I send it. Okay, so change the name, maybe put a couple of emojis in here, right? I don't know, whatever emojis you guys want. Just grab the first couple. Just to personalize it a little bit, right? And once you have it the way you want it, now we're going to send her the message, okay? So just going to copy that. I've got Facebook open, another tab right here. And we're just going to get her on Messenger. There she is. Paste it in, okay? And send. Simple, right? Great. And then I'll just toggle back over to Teamzy and we'll log it. There it is. Okay. And now check this out. It's logged. She's gone off my list. The list is now moved up one notch. You can see I've got 1 done, 8 to go. See the little circles filling in? So now if I go message Kim, I'll use the same message, right? And I'll work my way down the list. I'm not going to actually message Kim because I'm in an actual conversation with her. I'm not starting a new one with her, but you get the idea. So look, Emerson, we'll paste it in there. You change the name to Emerson. Now quick. You don't even have to be a good typist to do this. Okay, so quick tip on this. Always, when you're starting a new chat with somebody, always use their first name. Okay, don't sweetie, friend, buddy, whatever, right? Don't do that because then it starts to feel like it might be a generic group message. Make sense? Just a real simple thing. Use their first name. You don't have to do it every time you message them, but every time you start a new chat message, you know, put it in there. Okay. Great. And if you are texting somebody, if you are using text, I recommend signing your name in that first message too. Hey, it's Eric. How are you? Right? Because sometimes that comes through just as a phone number and they're like, who is this? Right? If you're using social media, then it's clear who it is. Make sense? Okay. So you do the same thing. We'll go send them that message on Facebook. When you log it in Teamzy, log connect, you can see now it's that circle's growing. So what you're going to do on your power hour is you're just going to work your way down that prospects list. You could use the same script, just change the name. You don't need to overthink it, but you're just reaching out to make somebody's day. That's it, right? And so my goal was 9 people, and I'm just going to take whoever's next on that list of 9 and send it. Now, sometimes people will come up and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to this person in 20 years. Maybe I should skip them. And what I recommend you do is just send the message. You'll be shocked how many people respond, right? And those of you who are active on social media, you may not even realize this, but for many people you haven't spoken with in many years, to them, you're like a mini celebrity, right? And they've been following you on social media. So when you reach out, you'll be surprised how excited they are to actually chat with you, right? How many of you are using Teamzy already? Let me see a few hands. Are you guys surprised at the response rate you're getting? It's surprising, isn't it? And it's like, wow, okay, yeah, this is working. People are talking to me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work down the prospects list. When that circle's all the way blue, you're done prospecting for today. You don't have to keep going. Okay. If we have time, I'll tell you my story when I went for a full hour on prospects one time, and my phone about blew up in my hand for that week because they all responded. The next list is customers. Okay. And so these are your customers, past or present. It's important that I say that, past or present, because how many of you have customers who aren't currently ordering from you? Of course you do, right? They're like solid gold. And we're trying to think of them as past, as canceled, as inactives, whatever you call them. I think you should just call them customers. These are people who have trusted you enough to buy products from you in the past, right? And so everyone's like, oh, they're training us. Whoa, go prospect on Instagram and meet complete strangers and try to get them to trust you to buy stuff. And here you've got people, some of you, hundreds of people who already trust you that much, right? They're just, for whatever reason, they're not getting the order right now. I mean, how many times have you guys canceled and restarted? Some of you in Arbonne. So just assume that they want it again and stay in touch. Just stay in touch. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep all those people. And when they come up again, the same thing. Maury's the first one that comes up. We're going to message him. You can go in and get some script ideas if you want to, if you're not sure what to say. Some great scripts in here, like if it's somebody that you haven't talked to in ages, I use this script. It says, hi, Jane, I saw you cross my Facebook feed and thought I'd say hello. How are you? Hope your day's awesome, right? Just something simple, just to restart the conversation. Are you with me? Okay. But if it's somebody that's a current customer, you can say something like this. Hi, John, how are you enjoying the products? But take out the products and put in what he's actually using. Okay. I've seen people send the products and I'm like, are you serious? Come on. I can't do everything for you guys, right? Please send me an update. Let me know how it can be of help. This is a very friendly and professional message that you can send people. It's a great way to take their temperature. If you haven't talked to them in a while and you're wondering if they're even using the products, right? Send me an update. Let me know it could be of help. Sometimes you'll get a response like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Thanks. It's great. Sometimes you'll get the, honestly, I'm not using them. That's good. That's a great conversation too, isn't it, to have? Because it's like, okay, well, let's get you using them. That's why we got them, and you're not going to get the benefit, right? So we can tell them some stories and get them engaged. I love this one though. This is my favorite one for customers. It says, hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Do you guys see how easy this is? So look, you just get a script, you send it to your customer. In my case, it's Maury, right? Change the name. Great. Throw in your emoji. I always throw in an emoji. Then I think it's less looks like some sort of generic thing. Send him the message, right? Log it in Teamzy and off to the next person. Now you're getting this pink circle filling in for customers. Now, just really quick before I move on to consultants, let me just talk to you guys really about the importance of connecting with customers. Because a lot of times we get focused on prospecting, which is important. We're going to do that every day. But customers, man, that is like a gold mine. Because, well, a couple of things. First of all, how many of you have customers that buy stuff? Great. Awesome. So you want to serve those people and give them great service, right? I mean, of course, we all want to do that. And so this is an easy way to give them great service because you're present for them. But the second thing, this is the part I love, is that if you're in regular contact with customers, statistically, they order more product and they retain longer, right? So they started with a small nutritional program and they love it. Now, because you're in contact, they want to try some skin products. Does it make sense? Because they're loving it. They're loving you. They're loving the relationship. They want to try more, right? What else do I need? I used to get this question a lot when I was building my own network marketing business, which I'm not anymore, just so you guys know, it's all Teamzy. But I used to get the, Eric, what else do I need? What other products should I be using? Right? And that's when you've built the trust to a point where they're just like, now tell me what, right? How many of you go to your favorite restaurant and you have your favorite server or bartender that you know, and you say, what's good? Tell me what I should get, right? What should I order? And this is that relationship, that sales relationship where they know the experience is going to be good based on your recommendation. Make sense? So we stay in contact, they order more, they retain longer. Okay. The third thing that I love is, okay, so how many of you have a customer or two that you just adore? I mean, these are your favorite people. Like, I want more of you. How do I clone this person? Yeah. So where do you find more people like that? Is there a special bulletin board, online bulletin board Arbonne gives you where you can just go cherry pick the best people? It doesn't exist, right? The best place to find great people is from the great customers you already have. And this is a timeless business principle people are forgetting, is that 85% of business comes by word of mouth. 90% of people say they make purchasing decisions based on the recommendation of their friends. Right? And we know that people prefer to do business with a friend. These are important things to remember. So all of your marketing strategies out in the world that you can employ in your business, 85 to 90% of your business is going to come from the relationships you're building. So think about your customer that you love. Some of you guys really gave me a great, beautiful smile and raised your hand when you thought of that customer that you adore, right? That person loves you. I'm sure they do if you love them. Like, it's just reflected, right? They love Arbonne. They're getting great results. So what does somebody like that do? They talk to other people about it. This is what human beings do. I guarantee you those customers are talking about it to other people. Remember, 90% of people say they make their purchasing decisions based on the recommendation of a friend. So your customers that you guys smiled and waved and thought of when I asked you, they probably have other customers ready to buy right now. Okay. So this is why being in touch with your customers on a regular basis is so important, because it builds the relationship, it builds the trust, and it allows you to ask them to introduce you to the friends that they're talking to. Right. And so you might have a conversation that goes something like this. Sherry, I know you've been getting amazing results. I'm so proud of you. And I know you've been really excited and loving the products. And I'm sure you probably talked to some friends about Arbonne and what's going on with you. And because you're my favorite customer, before I get too busy this month, I would just wanted to check in and see if you had anybody important to you that needs more information. Right? And she's like, well, actually, yeah, I was talking to a couple of, great, perfect. Would you mind introducing me to them? Whatever's easiest for you, a group text, group email, group chat. Just set one up and I'll take it from there. Okay, great. Does this make sense? Now, what happens is Sherry creates like a group message with two of her friends and me and says, hey guys, this is Eric, my Arbonne consultant that I was telling you about. And I just wanted to introduce you in case you wanted to get more info. Great. So she's done that now. Now I have two great people by introduction from my favorite customer. What's the chance that that's going to go well for me? Right? It's very good, because now those people, not only do they have, are they getting recommended by somebody who loves the product and excited, enthusiastic about it, but they're going to trust me sight unseen because she trusts me. Does this make sense? Now, I just want you to imagine that happening every month in your business, every month in your business, a few times. Because when you get moving with relationship marketing and Teamzy, that's what's going to happen. Now, this becomes a huge recruiting tool as well, because when Sherry's friends are ready to purchase, before I sign them up, I'm going to go back to Sherry and say, okay, thank you so much for introducing me to your friends. They're amazing. I can't wait. They're both excited to get started. Before I sign them up, I just want to ask you one question. Sherry, have you ever thought of doing what I do? Have you ever considered it? Because it was pretty effortless how you introduced them to me, and they're both ready to go. So we can sign them up under you. If you'd like to talk more about it, let's jump on a Zoom and let's talk a little bit more. Or it's fine if you just want me to sign them up and keep all of the commissions to myself. You let me know. Right? Does this make sense? How many of you were customers before you became consultants? They're the best ones a lot of times, right? They're the best ones a lot of times, especially if you want to build a really heart-centered team that's focused, that's product focused. I get into it a little bit with some leaders because they're like, I don't want my team product focused. I just want them building and recruiting. It's like, okay, that's great. But it's easier to keep a team solid when it's product based around the love of the products, because then you've got people using the product. Does this make sense? So you definitely want to be looking for opportunities to recruit, but at the same time, you want people who are loving the products and representing the products. Okay. So jumping in here, you guys get it. So you got it now, customers. customers are so important, and Teamzy makes it super easy. So you're going to work down your customer list, just connecting with people, whatever your goal is. When the circle's pink, you move over to consultants. This is your team. And it's the same idea. You want to stay in touch with your team to build a relationship with them. Isn't it amazing how time flies and you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to that person in 3 months. How's that possible? And so this keeps you on top of those relationships. Now, you might have a group Facebook page, you might do Zooms or things like that, but that's not the same as one-on-one. That's not the same as one-on-one. It's the one-on-one connection. And this is a huge issue in our industry, is the attrition of people quitting, right? Industry-wide, I don't know the exact stats for Arbonne, but industry-wide is 50% a year. So that means if you recruit 2, you lose 1 every year. As they say in California where I live, that's no bueno, right? We want to figure out how to keep people. We work so hard to bring them into the team. We want to keep them. And we know that the longer people can stay, the more likely we'll be able to help them be successful. And I want you guys to hear this from me. This is why my company is called Teamzy. Building the team is the most important piece of this. People will stay in the business because of the relationship they have to you as their leader and to the team. And it comes down to this, and it's like, man, I could go off on, I actually do a full 4-week leadership course that we offer through Teamz University. It actually starts in January, but I could go off on this. But one of the most important things that's missing from leadership in our world right now, do you guys feel like we're having a shortage of leadership, like real leadership? I don't know if you guys feel that way, but it seems like that is everywhere. It's because as soon as we know our leader does not care about us, it's really hard to follow that person, isn't it? And when they're ready to throw us under the bus to save themselves, it's just like, oh my gosh, well, we need our leaders that we can count on, that we can trust, that we know have our best interests at heart. And when it comes to building your team won't know that unless you really make an effort to stay in contact, to reach out, to be present. Does it make sense? So we're going to put them in Teamzy, and you're going to stay in touch. Now, if you've got a team of 4 consultants, this part will be easy. You'll be done quickly, right? So for those of you who are new and don't have customers or consultants on your teams, what you're going to do in Teamzy is you can set those goals and those 2 circles to 0 temporarily and just focus on prospects, okay? And you can do that here on your dashboard where it says edit daily goals. You see that up there? So I want you guys to know that if you've got 2 people on your team or whatever, you can set that consultant goal to 0 right now and change it down the road as you build the team. And right now you'd focus on prospects. So if my goal was 150 and I was new, I would be doing 19 prospects a day and 0 on consultants, 0 on customers. And then that would adjust as I build up my customer base and my consultant team. Okay, makes sense? Okay, you're with me. So I'm going to reach out to prospects, customers, consultants. My goal was 19. I could get that done easily in 30 minutes. Right? You guys see how easy that is? Honestly, I could do it in 15, but I'm going to give you 30 because I'm going to leave you a little time for overthinking. Who are the overthinkers? It's okay, but I just want you to send go on that message. Like, just put it in there and send go. I actually it was funny because I had somebody, it was a different company. She was in the UK and she says, Eric, I just can't get with your scripts because I'd never use the word awesome in a sentence. I said, okay, could you just change it to great and move on? Like, I don't care. You don't want to use awesome? Change it to, I hope you're having a great day. Can you say great? Can you change it to average? I don't know, whatever you want. Just put it just right. Don't overthink it. Just go. So I want you guys to know if anybody's stuck on that. Like, I have an enthusiastic way about me and I like to use the word awesome a lot. Cool. Don't use it. Change that word, but just keep it going. Okay. But I will caution you on this. I have seen people that take that script and they build it into 2 paragraphs and they've weaved in all the stuff they read on their Instagram, but it's like, it's too much. That first message needs to be just a quick little thing. Okay. So they respond to it. If you make them respond with a conversation, they're not going to, in many cases, they're going to wait till later and they won't remember. You just want it to be like, oh, hi. Oh yeah. Great to hear from you. So now they've responded and now we can start the conversation. Are you guys with me? Okay. The second half of the power hour is your follow-ups list. So we've messaged our prospects, customers, consultants. Now we go see if you have any follow-ups due. You can see this little red circle. I've got one due. So I would jump over there and send my follow-up, and then be done with my power hour. Pretty cool, right? So how do we get people to the follow-ups list though? Let me just kind of take you through this process. So when we started the power hour, I messaged Danii and just a hello message. I did step one, which is starting a new conversation, right? She responds. Now my goal is to have a conversation with her, right? My goal is to engage her in conversation. Now, every single person I message that responds, the conversation is not going to happen every time. Some of them will fizzle out after a nice little hello, great to hear from you, right? But we're going to try to have a conversation with her. Now, here's what I want to caution you against. I don't want you to have a conversation so that you can pounce on them with your Arbonne business. We are going to work that into the conversation, but it's not about us getting from them. It's about us helping them in this conversation. So I'm going to give you a little tip to getting the conversation started, just a little line that works great for me, which is she's going to say something like, oh my gosh, great to hear from you. We're well. Thank you for checking in. Right. And so then I'm going to say, I'm so glad to hear that. What have you guys been up to? It's been forever. Send me an update. Okay. Something like that. Send me an update. What have you been up to? Send me an update. Now, how many of you have heard people say use open-ended questions? Okay, so here's a little tweak on that. Open-ended questions often make people feel uncomfortable, right? So what you do is, I learned this from my mentor and business partner, Mike Lopez. You add to the end of the open-ended question what's called a directive, which is, here's how you answer my question. So I said, how have you been? Send me an update. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I know exactly how to do an update. Right? When your kids come home from school, don't say, did you have a good day? How was your day? You say, tell me something great that happened today. Right? You give them a directive, a direction, and then they answer it. So this really works. It's just a little thing that it makes people more comfortable. And that's the goal, is we want them comfortable. We don't want this to be weird. So I'm like, what have you been up to? Send me an update. So now she's telling me about what's going on in her life, just a little bit, right? She's probably not going to unpack the whole life, but she'll tell me a little something, oh, it's been good. Kids are doing this. So now she's giving me a little something to talk to her about. And I can ask questions. I can get more interested in what she's talking about, right? So what I'm looking for in a conversation is, I want to learn about what's going on in somebody's life. I want to find out if there's any areas I can help in. Make sense? So you're looking for that. Now, first off, I want you to know it may not have anything to do with Arbonne. Okay? She may be complaining that the roof is leaking. It's been raining a lot. The roof's leaking. It's so annoying. And I'm thinking, I know a great roofing company. Right? Does that have anything to do with Arbonne? No, but I could tell her, you know what? I know a great roofing company in your area. I'm going to send you their number. Great. Tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll give you a discount, right? So it's like, I've helped her. I've found a way to help. And that's what I want you guys to really get in that mindset of, how can I help this person? I can't tell you how many times I've sent people, it may be something as easy as doing a quick internet search and finding an article that helps them with something they're struggling with, right? Or introducing them to somebody So that's the whole idea, is how can you help people? But I'm listening to her, what's going on. She's telling me about her life. Now I'm going to tell her about my life. That's normal. That's called the Law of Reciprocity. She's expecting me to give her an update. And so I'm going to tell her what's going on with us. We just had our Thanksgiving holiday here in the US. So we're like up to our ears in turkey. We actually had 2 feasts in our family. And so maybe I'm telling her about that. And then I'm going to tell her about, oh, did I tell you about my home-based business that I started? It's with this amazing company called Arbonne. And I love it so much because, so you tell them in the conversation, you tell them about what's going on in your life, tell them what you do, meaning Arbonne, what you do and why you are passionate about it. Write that down, what you do and why you're passionate about it. Now, if you weren't doing Arbonne, but you were starting a new career, wouldn't you tell people? So we just want to throw the stigma of of direct sales out the window. This is what you're doing and why you're passionate about it. And when you explain to somebody what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, their response to you is always going to be positive. If it's not, I mean, there are people you just don't want in your world. I mean, I get it. Right. So you're going to occasionally come across somebody but normal people will be excited and happy for you when you tell them that you're doing something that you're passionate about. And that's where we want to frame psychologically your Arbonne business. Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool that he's found something that he loves and that he's helping people with. Make sense? Even your skeptical cousin who's like, is this network marketing? Well, fine, that's good for you. I'm glad you found something, right? They're going to be happy for you. Okay, so that's such a different perspective than you usually get if you just out of the blue say, could you give me an opinion on this video link? Right? And they're like, can you please never message me again? Because you're the 11th person to send me this link. No, it's different. It's like, okay, that's so good. So here's the thing. I've kind of given you guys a lot on that conversation, but basically what I would say when Dani's like, wow, good for you, Eric. That's great. Good on you. I'm going to say, yeah. And if you'd ever like to learn more about it, just let me know. I'd be happy to send you more info. Okay. It's just kind of like a little, because the thing is you always want to invite people to learn more. You don't want to exclude them from it out of fear, but you also don't need to shove it down their throat. You just put that invitation out there. Okay. And you'd be surprised how many people say, yeah, I would like to learn more. Okay. Now, some people might say, yeah, send me something. You got a link or something you can send me? That's my interest. You got to talk a little more, right? Sending the link is like, goodbye, see you later, right? So just understanding that, I like to send the links after they've made their purchase. You did great making this purchase today. Here's a lot of information on the product you just bought, right? So that they can justify logically the emotional decision they just made. So, of course, because she's incredibly astute and sees an amazing opportunity with Arbonne, Danii says, yes, please tell me more. And so now what I'm going to do is send her, an invite to get on a deeper conversation. So we want to get off chatting and now get on a conversation. I like to, obviously in person is best if you're local to somebody, connecting with somebody. But jumping on a Zoom or a FaceTime works great too. If that's not available, a regular telephone conversation, but having a real conversation now. So what I want to do on this conversation, and I would probably send her a Zoom link, is especially because we live so far apart. In our case, it would definitely be a Zoom link. But what I want to do on this conversation is I want to ask a bunch of questions to find out what she needs. Where are you struggling? What do you need help with? What caught your eye, or where, you've probably seen my social media, like where's your interest lay, and ask questions, find out what's going on. Right? Eczema could be something I can help with, might be weight loss. Those are two totally different things. I can't make an assumption of what she needs. Makes sense? So I'm going to ask a bunch of questions, find out. And what I would say is, hey, I want to jump on a conversation with you to just see what your goals are, see if I can help you with them. Okay. And so that's your goal, is to ask questions, find out what she needs. The biggest problem in our industry and any sales industry is assuming what you think they need and trying to shove it down their throat. That's what comes across really icky to people, right? Imagine if you weren't feeling well and you went to see your doctor. And when you walked in, instead of asking you questions, the nurse handed you a catalog, and said, here are all the pharmaceuticals we sell here. Take a look, browse through our book, see if any catch your interest, and I'll be happy to give you more interest on them. Right? Can you imagine if that was the case? No, what they do is they ask questions, then the doctor asks questions, they make a diagnosis, then they tell you exactly which drugs you need to buy. But let's be honest, they're selling pharmaceuticals, right? But it would be weird if they just said, just select what you think you need. No, they're going to help you figure out what you need, and they're going to get it for you. Okay. All right, so coming back in here, so I'm talking to her, we're on the Zoom, and I've shared the products with her that she needs. And how do I log it in Teamzy? I'm just going to show you really quick. This is how we get her on the follow-ups list. So she's not on my dashboard anymore because I already connected with her. So I'll use this little lookup bar right here to find her. Okay. There she is. And then now that I'm on her record, you can see like there's the messages that we've logged so far. I'm going to click on connect to open up that box. And now I'm just going to log that this was a video chat. I'm going to put all the notes that I've taken from our Zoom in Teamzy. So I have them saved. And then right here on the bottom left where it says share, I'm going to click that. And it's defaulted to just a normal connect, but I'm going to move it now to a product share because we talked about a product solution first. So I'm going to click product share. And then you can see it immediately turned on the follow-up list. It defaulted to 2 days into the future. You can click on that to change it. I'm going to change it to tomorrow. Okay. So I'm logging that we had a video chat, that it was a share of products, and now it's going to set a follow-up for her tomorrow. Make sense? So when I log this, you can see in history everything that happened. There's the video chat logged, all the notes are logged, and the follow-up for tomorrow is scheduled. So when I go to my dashboard and look at my follow-ups list, there she is, due tomorrow. So tomorrow, when I do my power hour, I will see, oh yeah, I got to follow up with Danii on yesterday's share. Does this make sense? Now, let me show you how incredibly easy this is to do a follow-up. So when I get over here, it's great. Here she is, she's due. You go to scripts again, just like before, and you pick a follow-up script. Okay, and I put my 10 follow-ups in here in order for you. They're numbered in order 1 through 10, so you can't mess this up. Go to follow-up number 1. It reads like this. Hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Super simple, right? And again, you guys, 20 years been working on these scripts. So they're refined down to like where they work. Like I had a mentor used to say, throw everything out of the aircraft that doesn't make it fly, right? So that's what this is. It's just, these scripts are just pared down. They work amazing. So I'm going to send her this script as a follow-up, change the name, right? Get the name there, which is great. Ready to go. Here we go. We're going to send her this message, paste it in, send it. Okay. Now Facebook and Messenger, you have to toggle. It doesn't let you send it automatically, which is, it's still super easy to do. It takes 2 seconds. So when I log this, and now watch what happens when I log it, because it's set as a follow-up. So when I log it, it asks me a question. Does this complete the follow-up you had scheduled? So I'll leave that checked because yes, it does. But then I want to click, before I get out of here, I want to click add another follow-up because I want to keep, now I want to set one a few days into the future, just in case she doesn't get this one or doesn't respond. Okay. So I'm going to set the next one. Let's say we'll set it for Thursday. Okay, great. You can leave yourself a note. I'm going to send, by the way, FU2 in my shorthand means follow-up number 2. Just clarify that. Okay, follow-up number 2. All right, so I'm going to create that. So now I've got a note that it's going to be follow-up number 2. So when I see it come up in a few days, I don't have to think. I'm just going to send her number 2. Makes sense? Okay, so now I'm ready to complete this. And you can see now it's moved her follow-up, a new follow-up to Thursday. Okay. So on Thursday, when I come in here, I'll send her follow-up number 2 and I'll set a new follow-up again into the future. So what we want to do is we want to create. So here are the 4 things you need to be doing to be in momentum. Okay. I'm going to number them for you. Number 1 is you're starting new conversations daily. Number 2, you're continuing conversations toward a share. You're continuing conversations toward a share. Number 3, you're sharing your products and your business opportunity. Okay, number 3 is you're sharing your products and your business opportunity. And number 4, you're following up on shares. Right? Following up on shares, because that's how you get the actual sale. Okay, so real quick on this. 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Have you guys heard this before? 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. The follow-up is the fortune's in the follow-up, they say. But this is what I mean by it's not just staying in touch. It's this follow-up after the share is where the fortune is made. Now, 80% happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. What does that really feel like emotionally? You're messaging people, you're doing everything I just told you, and you're getting crickets in response. Has this happened to you guys? It's like they're not responding. They were super excited. They said they were going to sign up. They didn't. Now I'm following up. They're not responding. So I want you guys to understand that the majority of people will not respond at all for many follow-ups, usually 5 or 6, I would say on average, before they respond the first time, which is maddening. And which is why you're like, oh my gosh, they're not interested. They're ghosting me. Their husband's a jerk, or I saw on social media, they're struggling, right? You start creating these stories that aren't true. Okay. So I want you guys to know the majority of people, they don't respond at all to 5 or 6 messages. You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with your relationship. It's not the economy. It's not COVID. It's not politics. Are you with me? Here's what's really happening. Dani's excited to get started. She says, I said, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. She says, perfect. I follow up with her tomorrow. She sees the message. She's like, oh yeah, that's great. I need to respond, but the dog's throwing up on the baby right now. Okay. Got to go handle that. Right. I'll get back to that later. Her life moves on. She doesn't think about it again. A few days later, I follow up again. Great. The phone buzzes. She's driving her car. She's like, I'm a responsible citizen. I'm not going to respond to him while driving. Do it later. Then what happens? Life continues on. Does this make sense? So what happens is they're not trying to ignore you. It's just happening. Okay. It's just happening. And there's some psychological things happening we won't go deep into today. The bottom line is it works to stay in touch with people. Sometimes it takes a little while and then they re-engage. Okay. So are there any of you who are concerned about being annoying by following up too much? Let me just see your hands if we've got any of those folks who are worried about that a little. Okay, good. Thank you, Ola. Thank you for being the brave one to put that hand up there quick. So here's the thing I want you to understand. It is possible to be annoying when you're following up, if you're following up from a place of like, I need this from you, right? So I want to reframe your thinking on this. How many of you really, truly believe in Arbonne? The products are amazing. You believe they're going to change people's lives. Okay, good. That's important, right? Because this isn't going to work that well if you don't feel that. How many of you believe the business opportunity is amazing and people can create whatever? Yeah. Okay. So if your goal is to really help people and change their life through this opportunity, through these products, and they have not made the purchase or joined the team, then Arbonne's not helping them at all, is it? The only way you're going to get from here to changing their life is by following up. Okay. The follow-up is how you help people. So I want to reframe your thinking on this. Think of it this way. Following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. Okay. So when I'm talking to Danii and she's like, yes, I'm interested. And I'm like, great, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be here with you. And then I follow up 3 times and she hasn't responded. And now I'm irritated with her. So I stop following up with her. What I've communicated is, I didn't really care about you. But when I persist in following up over time, even though she hasn't responded and she knows that she should have responded, right? This is like tension happening. Over time, it proves that I meant what I said, which was I want to help you. Now, how do you do it in a way so it's definitely not annoying? Just use my scripts. They're not annoying. They're crafted. But there are 2 principles behind the scripting of this. So I'll teach you the principles really quick. Then we'll do Q&A. The first principle is when you're doing following up with somebody, don't ask them to do anything. Okay? Don't put any sort of action step on them. Don't ask them to return the message. Can you please answer me? Right? Don't do that. That's annoying. So you just assume that you're going to message them again. Now, like I learned this years ago as a professional business consultant. I didn't really introduce myself tonight because I started late. I wanted to dive right into it. But I've been in the business of helping people build their business for 21 years. I've been a professional business coach for 21 years. I learned this years ago, even before social media, when we were just calling people on the phone all the time, is never ask them to call you back. If you never ask somebody to call you back, but you tell them when you'll try again, they love you. It's the same thing with social media messaging, texting, right? It's like, hey, I'll try you again tomorrow. Right. So it's like, there's no pressure on you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to stay in touch. So don't ask them to do anything. Principle number one. Principle number two, make sure your message is short enough they can read the whole thing without opening it. Okay. Short enough they can read the whole thing without opening it, because I already mentioned why they're not going to open it a lot of times. But you want to make sure they read the whole thing. They will always read your message. Nobody lets a message go unread. They just don't always respond. But they don't want to open your message, because if they open it, it sends the read receipt. They feel like a jerk. So that's why we keep it short, because then they don't feel like they have to open it. Are you guys with me? So as long as you keep it short and you don't ask them to do anything, it works great. And then what happens is, after about 6 messages where they haven't responded, sometimes it might be a couple months, they suddenly say, I'm so sorry I haven't responded. Thank you for staying in touch. I really appreciate it. And then you're back in the conversation, working on helping them again. Now, if you guys follow this Teamzy process every day, 5 days a week, less than an hour, creating new conversations, continuing conversations towards a share, sharing your products and businesses with people, and following up on shares, what you'll see is a consistent build of your business. Now, people using Teamzy, the average results of people using Teamzy is 21 customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. 21 customers and 9 recruits over 90 days is the average results people using Teamzy, which is pretty solid, right? Now picture that building quarter over quarter in your business. I always record my stats over 90 days, because it takes time to get conversations going sometimes. Make sense? In my consulting world, somebody would say to me, oh my gosh, business is so slow this month. I'd say, well, let's look back 90 days. What were you doing? Oh, I went on a 2-week holiday to Italy. That's why your business is slow right now. Right? You could always trace it back to 90 days. So right now you guys are building, it's the beginning of December. I know it's really November, but we're basically there, right? It's the beginning of December, the absolute best time in the year for our business. It's the best time of the year for our business. Now people go, oh, it doesn't feel that way, because you're already connecting with people, probably 3 times more people than you normally would throughout the year, because of the holidays. You're in parties, you're connecting with people, you're talking with people. So use this time to really engage with a lot of people. Don't, it's so easy to send messages to people and wish them a happy holidays, and just, it's the easiest time of the year to connect. And those results, the first few months of 2022 is when those results are going to hit your paycheck. But if you just take this next month off and cruise, guess what? You're going to be working hard to get paychecks in May. Make sense? Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to give you guys a couple action steps really quick, and then we'll do some Q&A. So a couple of quick action steps. Number 1 is go to teamzy.com and start your free trial. Okay, start your free trial. Get it started. It's free. It's 14 days, 2 weeks free. And then after that, you can set up a subscription once you're in love with it, and keep it going. Okay, so get your free trial going. For those of you who are in a free trial, you want to set that, you can set that subscription up at any point, so you don't lose access after 2 weeks. You won't actually get billed until the 2 weeks are up. Okay, so you get that free time no matter what, but definitely go in and set it up. Now, as far as cost, we do everything in US dollars. We're an American company, so you'll see slight fluctuations on your bill, but in US dollars, it's $29.99 a month, which is basically $30 a day to have everything planned and laid out, tracked for you. But we do have a special right now for Arbonne that you can lock in permanently if you set up your subscription now, and that's $19.95, so just under $20 US a month for the Teamzy subscriptions, like 60 cents a day US. So that you can get that and lock it in permanently. You'll always renew at that no matter what, as prices go up, inflation and all that. Are you guys seeing a lot of inflation where you are? It's really bad here. It's really bad here. It's the worst inflation we've had in 40 years. It's like when I was a kid, we had Jimmy Carter. It's like that again. So I go to the store, every time I go to the store, everything's 20% more than it was last week. It's crazy. But so Teamzy will be the same. You'll be able to lock that price in. And for those of you who are really in love with Teamzy, you're like, wow, that presentation was amazing, Eric. You can do annuals too, where you can do 12 months at a time and you save even more. So So keep that in mind. I'm going to give you another action, step 2, which is besides getting set up with Teamzy, is get success partner or 2. Groups of 3 are the best success partners. Just say, hey, let's do it for 30 days, try each other out, see if we like each other. But what I want you to do is with your success partners is get together on a Zoom, or if you're in person, you can get together and just share what your goals are for Teamzy. Like, here's what I want to do. Here's what my goal is. Here's how many connects I'm going to do a day. Okay. And then what I want you to do is each day when you do your power hour, I want you to screenshot Teamzy when you're done and message it to your team, to your success team. Okay. Which is going to be the most annoying thing in the world for them when they get it. Because in most cases, they haven't done it yet. They get your message. It's like, oh man, now I got to go do mine. But that's the point. The accountability really helps, right? And we're as human beings, we're really not wired to do stuff for ourselves, but we're really good at doing stuff to please other people. So leverage that accountability and support. Plus you can encourage each other, right? So I really recommend that you guys get set up in little teams of 3 and hold each other accountable. Okay. And then I'm going to give you one more action step. And this is for those of you who just really want to launch your 2022, just massive. How many of you guys want to do that? So I'm going to give you a challenge. And it's a very simple challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. Okay. 5 days. You guys could do anything for 5 days, right? So what I want you to do is use Teamzy 5 days in a row. Okay. 5 days in a row. And over those 5 days, I want you to message 100 people. Okay, so 20 a day. That's it. And it could be any combination of prospects, customers, team, I don't care. Just 20 messages a day sent, logged in Teamzy 5 days in a row. Now, what's going to happen is, now there's a couple of you that are like, I'm going to do 100 in day 1. I don't recommend that. You get too much past 20 and you find that you have too much going on your phone, right? You need to be able to space it out a little bit, because you're going to get some of you will get 100% response rate on those 100 messages. All of you are going to get a high rate though of response. So 100 messages in 5 days, it's going to blow your phone up, and it's going to teach you something about yourself. It's going to teach you that you can create massive momentum at any point in time in your business. It's going to take away the ability to believe those stories that, oh, December is a slow month, or the economy's bad, or people aren't doing this, or people, whatever. All those are just stories. Those are stories. I mean, how many of you have raised kids or are raising kids? Do kids create stories to try to justify their lack of action? Right? Like, why didn't you take out the trash like I asked? Now I get a 10-minute story about it. Why does he have to create a 10-minute story? I'm talking about my son Cruz. Why does he have to give me a 10-minute story? Because he didn't take out the trash, right? And as adults, we do it too. We give you a 10-minute story of why my business isn't cooking. It's because you didn't send the messages. Are you with me? So 5 days in a row, you guys are going to blow. Some of you will be like, that Eric Johnson, I can't believe I listened to him. He blew up my phone. Now I'm overwhelmed. I'll give you one tip to manage that overwhelm, but you will see it's going to be a visceral response that you're going to get just by doing this for 5 days. You guys will be into this after that. But here's what I recommend. Make sure you schedule your power hour, decide when you're going to do it. I'm going to do it at 6 a.m. I'm going to do it at 5 p.m., whatever. Like, this is when I'm going to do it. Put it in your calendar. And then block a couple of 30-minute sessions in your day where you're just going to respond to messages. So in your power hour, you don't even have to respond to any messages. You're just sending messages, okay? Unless you have time left over or whatever. But what I would do, for example, this is just when I started my business, I had a job, full-time job, working at the consultancy company. So I would get up in the morning, I'd do my power hour like 4:35 a.m. And then my kids would wake up and it'd be crazy. I have 4 kids. And then I'd go to work. And during my lunch hour, I took 30 minutes and I responded to messages. Now, what I did was I tried not to open messages at all during the day. And every unread message I had, I responded to. And then I did the same thing in the evening. At about 9 p.m. after my kids were in bed, I would just respond to all the unread messages. Did it like a couple times a day. It allowed me to keep all the conversations moving without being like this on my phone all day long. Are you with me? So there's this little pro tip. And I wasn't perfect at it. There were days where I was on my phone all day long just because we fall into that. We feel like we have to jump on it, but that's how I would do that. Okay. Now I'm going to open it up to you for questions because I've thrown a lot at you. And so if you've got questions, I want you to feel free to turn your microphone, to unmute yourself and ask away.
Dawn, I thought you were going to ask a question then. So do you know what? There probably are lots of questions. I'm just conscious of the time because it's 10 o'clock here, Eric. But I just wanted to say, accountability wise, what you were saying with the team report is so good for you to all see what each other are doing, and it's quite good fun to be competitive. So that part of it is really, really good. Definitely do the trial. And you can import, you don't just import your Facebook contacts, you can import your Instagram contacts, LinkedIn as well, I think. So there's lots of different, whichever social platform you're using, you can use it for. And I've noticed a real difference in my work schedule. And even if you can't fit the power hour in as a whole hour, it's just really easy. If you stop and you've got 20 minutes, just go into Teamz and see who you need to contact next. It's just so much easier than thinking, who do I need to contact today? You spend 10 minutes thinking about what you need to do and you've wasted that time. So for me, it's been absolutely the best thing that I've done for my business in a long time. So I hope you all really, really enjoy it. But does anyone have any questions before we go? No questions.
We left them soggy brained. It's all good. So if you do have questions, when you're in Teamzy, there's a little purple button that floats around the bottom right that says help. You click that, you can send a message to our team. They'll respond quickly with that. For those of you who are the self-guided people, we've got a great help center where you can get videos and FAQs and all that. For those of you who want to be really guided by somebody how to do it, our team will set up a one-on-one Zooms with you. So you can actually get somebody to assist you setting up if you're intimidated by it. So we've got different levels of help, whatever you need. We just want to get you in there so you can get to work, start building those relationships and building your business. So I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for your grace. I'm sorry about the mix up on the time start. I will get this recording to you, Danii, probably later tonight. You'll be asleep, but I'll send it to you so you have the link to share with the team. And God bless you guys. And thanks again. Welcome to our Teamzy family.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Eric. Bye.
Thank you.